Hey, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. As you saw by the title of this video, and as you can see with what is shared on my screen, I'm going to walk you through how to work up your very own natal chart. So everyone's natal chart is different. It's literally a snapshot where all the planets were located at the time of your birth. So everyone's chart is different. And I, as a certified astrologer, just want to be able to empower you with the knowledge and the resources for you to work up your own chart, be able to pull out your big three, and identify a couple other key things on your chart. As we're going through this, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're like, I have no idea what the heck she's talking about, I don't understand what these symbols are, I don't understand how they relate to my chart or me specifically, I do offer personalized readings where I do full natal chart workups, I do predictive readings, I do relationship readings, I do mini big three readings. So you can check out the description and the links on my channel if that's something you're interested in. I would love to work up your chart and do a full reading for you. They are pre-recorded, but you have access to them for the rest of your life. And it just works better for everyone's schedules because there's no time commitment involved. You send me a couple details about your birth, I work up your chart, I send you a recorded reading, and then you have it forever. So it's pretty cool. So if that is something you're interested in, feel free to go check that out. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to make my little screen here just a little bit smaller so we can focus on all this good stuff. So we are going to be using a free site called astro.com. So if you head over to astro.com, it'll take you to this general homepage. You're going to expand the little hamburgers on the left. Under free horoscopes, click that little caret. And then all the way at the bottom, you'll see this horoscope drawings and data. And we want the chart drawing ascendant option. So when we click that, sorry, I'm trying to, okay, we're gonna move this guy all the way to the bottom. It's like the little zoom bar thing at the top. You know, if you know, you know. It's just like always in the way. So when you click that, it'll probably take you, if you've never been to the site before, it'll take you to, I'm a little cashed in because I use this a lot. It'll probably take you to this birth data entry page. Now, this is a good time to hit the pause button on this video and either text your parents or dig up your birth certificate because you're going to need some details here. You know your name. We've gotten that far. You know your gender. The name and the gender, they're not going to affect your chart in any specific way. It's the last three pieces that will make or break your chart. It is super, super important. You know your birthday, but when you are asking either a relative or making an assumption about the time of your birth, it is so incredibly important that you get this exact and down by the minute and by if it's AM or PM, because just by the minute can completely shift your chart and it wouldn't be a true, authentic chart reading for you. So make sure that you get the very, very, very exact time of your birth. And then you're also going to need your birth town. If you do ever move forward doing a predictive reading with me, which means we take a look at what to look out for, how the next 3 months to couple years from now are going to, what energies will be present for you. If you choose to do that, you will also need to provide the current location of where you're residing. So, but for this purpose, we just need the birth town. And then you'll hit continue and it will bring up your chart. But before we even do anything else, we want to go back to this main screen. If your method web style here, if it doesn't say periphery, follow these steps with me. If it does, you're good and you can just bear with us. But you're going to go back to the screen that we were in and we're going to click on extended chart selection. It's going to take you to this screen. And we're going to take a look to see the house system. This is the only thing on here that you need to worry about. But I work with the porphyry house system. There are a lot of different house systems here. This just divides the natal chart into 12 equal pie slices, if you will, and it divides the houses equally. So the 12 houses of astrology, how we move through the different stages of our life, that's what I'm referring to. So we just want to make sure to update that. And then when you go back in and refresh, it should update to periphery. Or you can also edit your birth data in here and then click here to show the chart. A couple different options to get to the same stage. Cool? So we have our natal chart. It's as easy as that to input the data and spit it out. Now, I use many different apps and websites when I am working up someone's chart and reading someone's chart. This is a great free resource, especially when you are just getting started and when you just want the bare essential kind of information. So, as you can see here, this is our chart. You can write, oops. Okay, well, you can do that too. And you can save this image on your computer. You can screenshot it, whatever you need to do. But this is what a natal chart looks like. So we have our beautiful chart here and we have our birth data here. Eliza Kate is my cat. I don't know the exact time when she was born, but I chose a nice angel number for that. And it's going to give you all the information that we need. Now, like I said, you may be looking at this and you're like, what the heck am I looking at, Jennifer? How do I read this? That is something that we would dive into together in a personalized reading. I'm here to give you some key essential information points. So, first thing that you're going to notice here is it tells you what your sun sign is. So, Eliza Kate is a Pisces. Now, I'm going to show you other places on the chart that you can find this out just to educate you even further. Obviously, it tells us right there. We can also see here's the glyph of the sun and all the other planets. And it tells us the exact position, like down to the degrees, on where the sun is in Pisces. If we look over here, we can also find the glyph of the sun. This is the glyph of Pisces, so we can see that the sun is in Pisces. So that is the first of our big three, our sun. Second of the big three is our moon sign. So we can do the same thing, find the moon, glyph of the moon, and we see here, Virgo. We can pop over to the chart, find the glyph of the moon, and this is the glyph of Virgo. So we can see that the moon is in Virgo. The third of the big three is our ascendant, also known as our rising sign. So our rising sign for Eliza Kate, she's a rising Gemini. Now, this is where the birth time comes into play. If you do not know the exact down to the minute time of your birth, you're not going to be able to know what your rising sign is. Now, when we find our rising sign, actually, I'm going to take a step back. So our sun sign represents our ego. It's the face that we show to the world. Your moon sign is like the hidden depths, your emotions, it's our unconscious, and our rising sign is when we feel most connected to our highest selves. And it's usually how we describe ourselves. When someone says, "Hey, what's your personality like? What are some traits of yourself?" We usually describe our rising sign more so than we would ever describe our sun sign. So very interesting. But all three of these pieces work very closely together, and it's important that we understand how they can work together so that we can utilize the energies of all three of those to our best ability and making sure that we're expressing those energies in their highest form. So back to the rising sign. So when we're trying to find that on the chart over here, we're not looking for a planet because the ascendant represents an angle of our chart and it marks the cusp of the first house. So it's represented here by AC. And this is the line it takes from the center of the horoscope to the left. And we can see that that falls in Gemini. So just like that, in under how many minutes that was, we were able to find out what our big three are. Now, when I take you through a big three reading, we dive into the energies behind it. So what does it mean, right? What does it mean that that Eliza's sun is that she's a Pisces sun and her sun is also falls in the 10th house? Well, what does that mean? What energies are present for her? Then we take a look at the moon. Okay, the moon is in Virgo in the 4th house. What does that mean? And we look at the rising sign in Gemini. So we take a look at all those and find a way to utilize those energies to best serve ourselves. So a couple other things we look at on a natal chart. Again, this is just super basic, but we can take a look here. Whenever we're reading a natal chart, we want to focus on the 5 personal planets. So the 5 personal planets are going to be the first 5 planets that are over here in this chart. So the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. These planets have the biggest impact on us. We have our other planets like the transpersonal planets and social planets. They have a smaller effect on us energetically. So when we're looking at a chart, if there's something very prominent that I call out, I might bring those up, but we really focus on the big five. So we want to take a look at kind of see where those are falling. You can see Eliza Kate has a lot going on in her 10th house. And that is something that I would go through in a reading. Like, what does that mean? 90% of her planets are in this chart. I'm just estimating, but there's a lot happening here. Girlfriend, you okay? And then we can also take a look at this chart here, which I will give you some good knowledge and tidbits here. So this represents the modes and the elements. So going across the top here, we have cardinal, fixed, and mutable energy. Cardinal is that Kickstarter, that fire up, that ready, set, go energy. Fixed is more stable energy, and mutable is very changeable, kind of go with the flow energy. And then we have our elements, fire, air, earth, and water. So when we take a look here, first thing I do when I read anyone's chart is just kind of see what fundamental energies this person is working with. So again, we want to look at where these 5 personal planets fall here, and to see if there is an abundance of fire energy. If there's a lot of fire cardinal energy, that individual has a lot of just like ready, set, go, like I'm going to go do the darn thing. They have a lot of that energy. If you find someone that has a lot of fixed earth energy, they are very stable and very fixed and very rigid in their thinking, perhaps. So when we take a look at where all these planets are falling, we want to make sure that we see a healthy balance of these. Now, not everyone is going to see an equal balance of these. As we can see, Eliza Kate, we see her Mars, we have some fire energy present for her. We have her moon with a little bit of earth, mutable energy, but majority of her personal planets are falling in water energy. And she doesn't have any personal planets in for air energy. So I'd recommend to my cat for the air energy to get some fresh air. So maybe I'll stick her out the window a little bit. Just kidding. I won't ever do that. But you want to take a look at how you can bring these other elements in via nature. So if you find yourself on your chart that you have a lot of water energy, a majority of your personal planets are falling in that water energy, how can you bring more earth, air, and fire into your life? Well, you can bring in more fire energy by basking in the sun and getting outside, enjoying the sunshine hitting your face. Get air energy by going for a walk, feeling the breeze, maybe going on a beach vacation to, get all the beach air. I can't use words today. All the nice fresh ocean air hitting your face. Earth energy, putting your feet in the sand, going outside, taking your socks and shoes off, really grounding, rooting yourself, feeling the earth under your feet. Those are ways to help balance out all of that water energy. Now, if you were lacking water energy, maybe soaking in a tub or going on a beach vacation, getting in the ocean, feeling the water. So there are ways to help balance that out through nature. But first and foremost, you need to understand what energies are you naturally lacking. Now, when we take a look at all of these blue and red lines, again, this is something that I go through in personalized charts on how to kind of read all of this. But when you see blue lines, those represent all these lines in general, all these lines represent aspects. So aspects are angles between two different or more than two different planets. So you can have one planet directly across from the other, and we say that they're opposite. And each aspect either represents high energy or lower energy. So there are planets and aspects that either have a good relationship with one another, or their energies are going to cause maybe some tension in your life. And so we go through and I give you some recommendations on, okay, how can you flip that so that you can express that energy in its highest form? Because everyone has high and low energies present for them on their chart. There is no such thing as good or bad. But it is up to you if you do have lower energy present on your chart or some tension between one planet and the other. You can always work through that, but that's up to you. And I'm going to give you tips and resources on how to do that. So when we see blue, good. When we see red, just means a little bit of tension. Again, not something that's set in stone. Nothing on your chart is absolute. right? It's up to you to work with these energies on how you choose to do that. We do find though that individuals, and I just say we as astrologers, we do find though that when we read an individual's chart, if we find that they are naturally going against the grain of their chart, so this is essentially what you are, call it what you will, destined for your life. And if we find that you're going against the grain of your chart, what was innately, present for you at the time of your birth, you might be fine. You might struggle a little bit more. You might find that you're just a little more stressed out. You're a little more unhappy. And when we find that individuals are going with the grain of their chart for what was planned out for them, they're living in alignment. So we go through all of that. But down here, this helps us read all these lines a lot better because there's a lot of overlapping. You might not be able to see clearly which, line is going across from which planet and all of that good stuff. This helps us read those aspects. And once again, we want to take a look and focus on the 5 personal planets and what aspects are present between those. So just looking at an example here, see which one I want to pull up. She has a couple. Okay, so let's look at this one for example. So we see this triangle here. So this is a trine, and we see Eliza's Venus. This is a glyph of Venus. This is also your little cheat sheet up here, and this is a glyph of Mars. Her Venus is trine her Mars. Okay, so now let's go over to the chart and try to find that. So we see Venus here, and we see Mars here. So that is making a trine. See this blue line? So when planets are in a trine, they're smoothly supporting each other. So this is a good relationship. So the Mars energy, that fiery, ready, set, go energy, that drive, all of that is working in favor with Venus, which is more of like the love, the taste, the aesthetics, the beauty. So those things are going very hand in hand. So it's just funny using a cat as an example, but that translates into Eliza is very easily able to express her inner beauty, her aesthetics, her love and taste. She's able to express those very well and in their highest form. So that's just one example. Now, when we take a look at a chart, we can also take a look at things like our career line. We can take a look at what lessons were present to us in our past, what lessons are present in our current life that came from us from a past life. So we get to take a look at that. There are so many other, obviously you can see this is a lot of stuff here that's present in this chart, and that's what we dive into in a full personalized reading. I'm not going to go through every single thing here right now. If that is something you would be interested in though, let me know. I'm more than happy to kind of do like a full natal chart reading on here. So if that is something you would be interested in, drop it in the comments below. But I really just wanted to focus on today's video because I don't want this to be too long, because when I do a natal chart reading, it can be upwards of like an hour long. So trying to spare y'all that time. So, but this is generally how you, this is not generally, it is how you pull up and work up your own natal chart. You find out your big 3, take a look at just some general energy. So I hope this empowered you to want to go look up your own chart, kind of see what energies are present for you. And if you want to learn and understand how to read it further, highly encourage you to go ahead and book a personalized reading with me. I'm operating at about a 1 to 2 week turnaround time right now. So it's a perfect time to lock your spot in. And again, they are pre-recorded. It'll be delivered. I send it through a little Google Drive link, so you'll have access to that video forever. And I know you won't be disappointed by it. And you'll learn so much more about yourself. You'll learn how to work with the energies. And I'm just very excited to work with you if you decide to do that. So that's what I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. And I hope that you learned at least one thing about yourself. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.